Strength through will is how we can reverse the perversion of values that have been instilled in you, in me, and all our brethren, insidiously through generations of ancestral oppression. Though it stood with as much superhuman endurance as anyone could, it left a deep impression. Invisible scars that have caused us to devolve into a state of unconsciousness so malignant, we've nearly forgotten we're not a problem to be solved. We always been the solution they seek to dissolve, with the illusion of ties that bind us to a system that blinds, of most vicious design, which is to free no man. Only together, through sharing of wisdom, can we heal the wounds of division, forever sealing that evil incision, and finally deprogram.
The boys detest that. He worked with the CIA to undermine Garvey. And in fact, the first black FBI agent was hired to infiltrate the Garvey movement, to try to destroy the Garvey movement from the inside. Garvey laid the blueprint, and the Uhuru movement is actually, a continuation of the Marcus Garvey work, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why we say we have to build what we call dual and contending power. We have to fight this system on every front, but simultaneously, we have to be able to build our own infrastructure for us to begin to organize ourselves under one government, under one movement, and not just protest, but with protest, you have to do that, but you also have to build your own capacity to meet your own needs.
So my next question will be, since you stated that Du Bois was a Pan-African and Marcus Garvey really wasn't a Pan-Africanist, would it be safe to say, and you also said Du Bois was in the CIA, correct? Or
I said he worked with the CIA.
Yeah, he was working with the CIA, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say that someone today who is pushing Pan-Africanism as a tool to push, saying they're pushing Marcus Garvey's agenda, wouldn't that be kind of a flat out lie? No, I mean, I ain't no other way around it.
It's a lie, but it could be an honest lie. You know what I'm saying? And because you find people that just don't know history, and the way that they give us history sometimes is very what I would consider eclectic. So people don't really, and this is why it's important to have theory, because they can give you a whole lot of stuff, and it may or may not be true. And then so you think you come into a situation thinking that you want to help, and you have a genuine desire to help, but you've been misinformed on what everything is. So you want to help, but you're working for the enemy. You know what I'm saying? But you don't understand that that you're working for the enemy. You don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And because you may not have one thing that imperialism or colonialism want to do, it want to have a monopoly on defining your reality, and it want to have a monopoly on violence. Just in case you don't go along with that reality, they can kill you and call you a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? But and you'll find a lot of people join stuff because they think they helping, but they just don't have a clear understanding of what it is, and not dealing with the fact that this place has always spoke with a double tongue, forked tongue. So they can tell you that they taking democracy into the world while they killing people. They can tell you that they taking democracy through the world while they committing mass genocide. They can tell you that they committing terrorists, or they fighting terrorists, when they the ones that's dropping bombs on everybody, and ain't nobody dropped the bomb on them. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you don't have an alternative theory or narrative to explain what's going on, what you wind up doing is just accepting what they're saying at face value, and that becomes a contradiction. So I think you have honest forces that may be on the wrong side of the question, but once the truth is put out there and it exposes the contradiction, honest forces will be able to have enough courage, or should have enough courage, to make those necessary adjustments to get on the right side of the question, as opposed as to continue, fighting on behalf of our enemy.
Okay. So based on your elaborate answer, which is very well needed, would you? I'm gonna just come out and say it, cause the one person who I know, I don't know him personally, but I've been to one of his lectures and stuff like that. Born Jermaine Shoemake, we know him as Brother Umar Johnson. I would have a hard time as knowledgeable as he is. I would have a hard time believing that he didn't know the information that you just shared.
I mean, like I said, everybody's not. Some people are honest. They misled honestly, and some people are consciously aware of the decision that they made. You know what I'm saying? You have some people that just want to help, and they start doing stuff, and they don't really have a good understanding. And you have some people that's well aware and thoroughly understand what the contradiction is, and what they do is they choose the wrong side of the question. They choose to work in the best interest of the colonizer. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's white power and blackface. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they call Uncle Tom. That's what they, you have people that are conscious of it. And so that wouldn't be an honest person. That would be somebody that just have made the decision to side with white power. But I think there are some genuine people that everything about them, their intent is to help. They're just misinformed. And I think if you present the information to them in a way that they can hear it, that honest people will stand on the right side of the question. And those who choose to stand with white power are going to stand with white power. And the thing is this, is that, there's no way for any individual to know what's inside somebody's head. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we say that work is primary. So the work that you produce, helps to understand. Like old school people used to say all the time, you done heard this, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what the hell you're talking about, I can look at your actions and it can help me determine, what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so the proof is in the pudding. So I think that we put the correct narrative out there, the alternative narrative out there, and then we provide the way forward and see what people who will stand on the right side of the question, regardless of what popular opinion is or popular perception of any individual is. You know what I'm saying? But some people the dishonest people would do things to work for themselves, even at the people's expense. So they will fatten their pockets at the people's expense. They would do things that will draw attention to them, even at the people's expense. You know what I'm saying? But we don't, and that's why in the African People's Socialist Party, we have the Burn and Spit newspaper, you know what I'm saying, which is the longest lasting revolutionary paper in the world. And inside the Burn and Spit newspaper, the second page, it says we have rules of party discipline. And then in the middle of the page, it has what we want and what we believe. Because one, we want to be accountable to the people. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to exploit the people in no kind of way. So we have rules of party discipline. So anybody in the community can hold us accountable to what we stand for. Because what we need is cadre that's going to be committed to the African working class and committed to advancing this revolution, not people that's committed to being able to big themselves up as an individual and become the center of attention. We saying that we got to organize the people in order for us to advance our struggle. And then in the middle, like I said, what we want and what we believe, it shows our intent, and our intent is to govern. But some people won't even, they're not even going to tell you all that because they don't want you to really know what their intent is. They don't want you to hold them accountable to anything. They don't want you to be able to say nothing to them because they want to say, look what all I done and look what all I did, so you can be one to them in a real way and not practically in a way that's going to, advance our struggle. So we got to be able to have principle struggle, not subjective struggle because I don't like you or you don't like me or, you know what I'm saying? That don't even mean anything because you know, shit, people work for Toyota all the time. You know what I'm saying? You might be standing next to a Klansman on an assembly line, but I guarantee you, when you go to that assembly line, y'all ain't bickering and fighting about he a white supremacist and you a black supremacist. Y'all go in there and build that goddamn car. And we got to build our future. We got to build this revolution. We got to build the capacity for us to govern ourselves, whether I like you or not. And that comes from principled struggle and not a subjective struggle about how I feel about you one way or the other.
Okay. So based on the proof being in the pudding, do you think, because he is a public figure, do you think Brother Johnson is working in the best interest of our people?
To be honest, I'm not a follower of Umar Johnson, and I have not personally seen, you know, anything that he has contributed to the advancement of our struggle, you know, and nor have I heard any clear theoretical discussion that advances our struggle on any level. I haven't heard it, and I'm not saying that it don't exist. I'm saying I have not heard it, and what I think is that I have a problem most times when you have individuals that becomes the center of something, but where does it lead the people to? You know what I'm saying? Like Malcolm said it best, you know, is that we're not outnumbered, we are organized. So we need organization. You know what I'm saying? And what organization are we being led to be a part of to advance our struggle? No individual is going to be able to advance the struggle solo dolo. You know what I'm saying? We need organizational capacity to have the power necessary to be able to do that. And organization is the vehicle that guides us, that takes us from one place to another. What organizational vehicle is being put forth for us to make that happen? I have not heard of any organizational capacity, nor any theory that would guide the people anywhere from Dr. Umar. I have not heard that, you know. Yeah, the things I heard was a school, but I haven't even seen any evidence of that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what's being done, but what I can honestly say is that, you know, like I say, principle and honest discussion. If anybody honest, then they would have a principled discussion that would lead us to a deeper level of unity and not exploit or take advantage of the people in any kind of way, you know what I'm saying? And I haven't seen that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we have to build organization. And I think the African People's Socialist Party has been doing that for 50 plus years, you know what I'm saying? And this, like Garvey was building one movement and you practically saw what Garvey was doing, you know what I'm saying? And I think that we have a responsibility to build that type of movement and that type of organization that advances our struggle clearly to the masses of African people, to the African working class. Yeah.
And let me just put this out there. I ain't picking on the brother. I'm just stating that we got to call a spade a spade. And if he ain't working in our best interest, it needs to be looked at. And if he is working in our best interest, it needs to be saluted. So I just had a hard time finding that you are working for African people and he says he's working for the African people and it's not together. So it would be hard for me to understand if I'm working for the best interests of our people and you working for the best interests of our people, if we ain't coming together, it's something wrong with either me, you, or, you know what I'm saying? For those, because a lot of people be like, well, why you picking on him? And I just want to give that example to show, hey, we need to work together as a collective. And that's not a knock on nobody. That's just what needs to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everybody ain't honest. You know what I'm saying? And everybody ain't working on behalf of the people, and everybody not working in the best interest of the people. And again, some people are doing that out of ignorance, and some people are honestly making a decision to work in the best interest of the people that's in power. You know what I'm saying? Because it benefits their pockets. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta have principled discussion, and we gotta have the ability to not only examine and analyze everybody. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able to give principled criticism. What we use in the movement is criticism and self-criticism, because we want to hold ourselves accountable, not because we're picking on anybody, but because we want to be able to advance the work that we're doing and work out whatever contradictions that any individual or organizationally we have. So we got to be able to have principled struggle. And part of that principled struggle is even being able to come up with a clear theory and line to sum up what the hell is happening. Because if your theory is wrong, you know what I'm saying, no matter what you do or how honest you are to your theory, that shit gonna take you in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? That's just like saying, you know, if your map say the way to Alabama is north and my map say the way to Alabama is south, you know, somebody wrong. You know what I'm saying? And if we really want to get to Alabama, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna have to have a real discussion, or we're gonna be going in circles. You know what I'm saying? And once a person realizes that it's north or south, you know, then we gotta be honest, have the courage enough to get and go in the right direction. But you'll find some people are not only dishonest, they have so much stake in being wrong that they will stay with that wrong analysis because it benefits them. You know what I'm saying? And they may be and they will be conscious of that. So I think, you know, but you know, you sum that up, and then you give people the opportunity to struggle for a deeper level of unity. But if not, there's a class interest, and that's what we're saying. There's a class interest. Why the class struggle is so important, because the middle class, you know, will betray the interest of the people every time, every time. And you got to be able to have a working class analysis that work in the best interest of the African working class. And I think, you know, Pan-Africanism works in the best interest of the middle class and the status quo at the expense of the African working class. And him being a key proponent of that, I think is a serious contradiction. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see them leading anybody. Matter of fact, I don't even see any Pan-African organization that is leading people to organization. I don't see any Pan-African organization that's doing that. What I do see is that there's an eclectic. It's like everybody. It's an eclectic approach. It's like everybody is saying a whole lot of stuff that comes from a whole lot of places that gets us nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is that, like, even the old Panthers was a political organization. They was not a religious organization. You know what I'm saying? But now you have I done heard some Panthers, you know, say that they also, you know, part of some type of like Muslim and that type of thing. And then you just have a whole lot of stuff that it contradicts itself. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a slight at anybody, but it's saying that we got to be able to sum this stuff up in a way that we can clearly see what we're saying and the direction that we're going in. So, because people, it'll confuse the hell out of people. You know what I'm saying? If you're saying too much, you're saying a lot of stuff from a lot of different directions. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be able to sum all this stuff up. And I haven't seen a real Pan-Africanist organization that guides people to any one particular, direction, you know, because you'll find Pan-Africans that are middle class, working class, Christians, Muslim, all these different things, Buddhists, and a whole lot of stuff that which is not anything wrong with being some of that stuff. But if you saying that you're a political organization, what is the theory? What's your analysis, and what's the way forward? And we got to be able to sum those things up in a way that's going to guide us to a better and more clear understanding of what we got to do to get free.
So, based on what you're telling me, the African people, the Socialist Party, is all about freedom as well as nation building as a unit.
Yeah, we gotta unify African people all over the world. We gotta take Black power and power over our own lives, and our end goal is to govern over ourselves, to create a future for ourselves, to govern over our own resources, human and natural. That's our end goal. We want self-government.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and you ain't gotta go too deep. Do y'all already have things in place of what that would look like?
Yeah, everything that we do is to that end, every single thing. Like right now, I'm sitting in Huntsville, Alabama, in the economic institution of the All African People Development and Empowerment Project, ABDEP for short. It's a Zenzele consignment store. This is the economic institution of ABDEP, which means that ABDEP, like all the proceeds that come from Zenzele go back into programs like community gardens for us to be self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? All the proceeds that come from Zenzele, once expenses are met, goes back into community programs like the Marcus Garvey